since we were just talking about the SEC, I definitely wanted to jump in on what happened with the Texas Longhorns in the Big 12 championship. Now, we were not surprised per se about what Texas ended up doing in the Big 12 championship. We expected Texas to win this game against Oklahoma State because we looked at the primary strengths of what Oklahoma State brings to the table, and we just didn't think, that they matched up very well at all to Texas, because anything that Oklahoma State could do extremely well, Texas, well, they were able to go ahead, and they're also pretty strong in those aspects as well as a football team. Plus, Oklahoma State has been wildly inconsistent going into the Big 12 championship game. They got blown out by UCF, nearly lose to BYU going in. So they weren't necessarily carrying that same momentum into the Big 12 championship. Texas, on the other hand, them boys were absolutely rolling. And they continue to roll in this game. Quinn Ewers, for example, Quinn Ewers was somebody that just looked on. And it's a kind of performance where if he can replicate that in these college football playoff games, his teams are going to be put in a position to win a national championship. Quinn Ewers was excellent against Oklahoma State, 35 for 46, 450 yards, 4 touchdowns. We also get a big boy touchdown as well. Defensive tackle Devondre Sweat gets a receiving touchdown. I mean, doesn't that make your heart sing just a little bit? It certainly makes my heart sing. You absolutely, positively love to see that. So we're definitely loving that every once away. This is the 4th Big 12 title that the Longhorns have secured. And this is actually their very first Big 12 title that they've had since 2009. So there's been quite the drought since Texas lost to Alabama in that 2009-2010 national championship game. Texas has not been back ever since. They also won a championship game in the league's inaugural 1996 season when the Big 12 championship was instituted, and in 2005 when they were last national champions. It's been close to 20 years since we've seen Texas, quote unquote, being back. Now, a big reason why they were able to go out and handle their business against Texas is that they did end up making Ollie Gordon, they did find a way to slow him down. If Oklahoma State was going to find a way to win this game, it was going to be behind Ollie Gordon II. Ollie Gordon II, for all intents and purposes, was completely shut down in this ball game. Ollie Gordon had arguably one of his worst games of the season. He only had 13 carries in the game for 34 yards. Now, this is usually a running back that gets anywhere from 20 to 30 carries a game. So for him to only get 13 of said carries, it's a little bit of a surprise for sure. So what happened? Well, game script definitely happened. Texas was able to jump out to as much as a 28-7 lead in the first quarter and a half of the game. And that put the ball strictly in the hands of a very inexperienced quarterback. While he may be a senior, this is a guy that hasn't really played much in the last few seasons, at least not up until this year. And he's been very average for the sense, even though he's been in college football since 2018. So Alan Bowman, he had to try to carry the team on his back, and he was fine. 250 yards, 3 touchdowns, an interception. Didn't lead to very many points, especially in the second half, which is where you're trying to come back desperately. They were just made into a one-dimensional team, and you just can't win like that. You can't win like that against a team like Texas. Now, we did see a little bit of Malik Murphy in this game. Ewers did have the wind knocked out of him late in the third quarter. He was only out for a play. He did end up being replaced by Malik Murphy instead of Arch Manning. You think back to when Texas played Texas Tech. We saw Arch Manning play in there. It's an interesting quarterback battle to watch in 2024. Malik Murphy and Arch Manning. We presume Quinn Ewers is going to the NFL at the conclusion of this college football season. Whoever loses that is going to enter the transfer portal, and he might have their pick in terms of where they're going to go and start. It's an interesting dynamic to watch down there in Austin, Texas, but Texas did a very good job just handling their business. They didn't have that big letdown game that they've been so known to having over the years. Steve Sarkisian finally gets that Texas team back over the top. They are going to be playing in the college football playoff. But who does Oklahoma State play? We know Texas is going to play Washington in the Sugar Bowl. We talked about this already. As for Oklahoma State, they actually are going to be playing in the TexAct Texas Bowl. That is going to be happening in Houston, Texas, where ironically, the Houston Texans do end up playing. Should be a really intriguing game on that front between Texas A&M and Oklahoma State. But congratulations to the Texas Longhorns, not only being champions of the Big 12 Conference, but simultaneously also securing your first college football playoff berth and your first real opportunity to win a national championship since 2009. I think it is indeed safe to say that, guys, Texas is officially back. Yeah, we are calling it here, baby.